Morning, guys. We are live. Sorry, frog in the throat. It is Friday 28th August, 8:45, and as I said during the week, today's live video will be about people worried about starting their training with a long-term injury and whether it's the right thing to do. So I'm just going to let a few people come on. We're just a minute into the video, and then give people a chance to follow the main body of the talk. But as I've just said, this is again for the people who I hear inquire to me and attend other exercise classes, whether it's an outdoor venue, an indoor venue, something they want to maybe start trying to do at home, but trying to do it with a long-term injury. So we'll get started. And this comes up a lot when you have trained people for as long as I have. I've now had Fit Club running for 11 years. I've been training for nearly 13 years. You come across a lot of people who will not want to start or have the worry of starting for so many different reasons. But one that will come up quite often is the worry of starting with an injury, whether it's short term, but more so people that have been suffering for a long time, suffering a long time injury. Now this can be any injury. It can be somebody suffering with ankle or knee issues. It could be somebody suffering with a lower back issue, and it could be somebody suffering with shoulders, elbows, neck, multiple different injuries and reasons why people believe they can't train. Now, right now, this week, I've already trained lots of different people suffering with lots of different types of injuries. I have a lady who has kept on coming, but she's actually having a hip replacement next week. She was recommended to carry on training. I knew that I'd be able to manage her within the sessions. And it's really easy if you have a skilled trainer working with you to manage these even in a group session. I'm not saying they won't find a bit more benefit in PT, but people like the social side. They still want to feel like they can still attend and enjoy the sessions. They can. Now, of course, there are exercises that we don't recommend for her to be doing, and she knows that can aggravate her. Ironically, squats create a good movement through the hip, keep strength in and around the issue in her hip, and she manages them by keeping a shallow squat. She doesn't drop down too deep. She keeps a narrow stance so her knees are in line with her hips, and she carries on doing them during the session. Other people, while she's doing those very simple squats, will be doing other exercises. So they could be doing jump squats, wide turned out squats, so they're working on the inner thighs. They're looking at their air squats, so they're dropping as far to the floor as they can. Everyone can work to their own ability. I've got other people that are suffering from neck issues and shoulder issues, and they didn't start initially because they thought, well, I can't do press-ups and dips, so there's no point. Of course there is a point. I would actually suggest that if you are suffering with a long-term injury, that is the reason to start exercise. To introduce rehabilitative exercises to help, not cure it, you're probably not going to cure it just through exercise, but you're definitely going to take big steps towards improving it, and then you'll find more confidence builds up, and from that you are going to probably find more confidence and actually start to do a little bit more even with the injury. I had a member that suffered an injury whilst training, wasn't training with me, and it was effectively a frozen shoulder, and she'd had treatment after treatment, but she was worried about training. So I said to her, why don't we come away from the group exercise and we'll put you into some PT just to see if we can help, but we'll look solely on rehabilitation on the shoulder. In a few weeks she already felt the improvement. She was gobsmacked, in fact, by how well she felt. And within probably a month or 6 weeks, she found the confidence to go back to the group sessions. But what we did, when people were doing their normal arm and shoulder work, we did the rehab work. So even within the main body of a session for Fit Club, she was able to incorporate her rehabilitative exercises and just carry on that route of rehabilitation. And she got herself back to what I would consider 90-95% of her fitness and strength back in her shoulders. She absolutely nailed it. And what happened, unbeknown to me, she'd been nagging her husband to come. And his excuse was, Nayland, I've got a bad back. You know I can't exercise, or I have to be careful with what I do. And unbeknown to me, like I just said, he had been watching what Linda had been going through and how quickly she had improved and how well she had improved. And by seeing that, and by knowing she'd been doing not only just PT, but the group sessions as well, he joined. He came on a trial. He started with Fit Club and PT. And we went through some very simple rehabilitative exercises with his lower back. We loosened off his hip flexors. We added a bit more mobility exercises into his life. Tried to incorporate them day to day. That was 6 years ago. He's still training with me now. A minimum of twice a week, sometimes 3. They do a mix of PT and a mix of the group sessions. He started with a long-term injury, and it has only improved and keeps on improving. And what he has found the most astonishing for him was that when he does know that his back's about to go, he stops, he slows down, and he'll have to take a couple of days just working on the rehabilitative exercises only. But he'll be back probably in the same week. Before that, he said he'd be out for 6 months minimum, struggling day to day, keeping that rigid back, dropping down onto your knee to pick something up. And it's all disappeared through exercise, group training. Now, I'm not saying if you're attending a class of 60 people in a sports hall, you're going to get the one-to-one care or that kind of personal care. You're not. I would suggest to still get yourself some personal touch. You need to be working on groups of 10 to 15 with a trainer you trust. You will find value in the trainer having enough time to support you with the injuries, and he'll start to learn, he'll start to pick up. They'll start to pick up. So I know if I have my 10 regulars turn up on a Friday morning, I can gauge as they come in, okay, we have a shoulder injury there, we have some knee issues, we have some back issues. I incorporate it. Okay, so when they're doing burpees, we'll just get them doing some balancing work and some core stability. We can change the exercises for whoever it needs to be done to. and they can engage themselves in the session and not feel like they're having to hold back or hold others back, but they're doing it with an injury. Some people say, I can barely walk. That's fine. Get yourself along. Walk with me, do rehabilitation exercises only, and I can almost guarantee, I don't like to say guarantee, but you can almost guarantee, if you are religiously coming 2 or 3 times a week, just doing rehabilitation with me, you will feel better, and you will be better. And you will find the confidence to push yourself, improve your fitness, improve your health, and go. I'm going to finish with what we've come to call him, the Bionic Man. I can name him Charlie. It's no secret that man has got more metal in his body than the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz. He's a bit of a reckless stuntman on a motorbike, on a road bike. He's had falls, all sorts. And we joke about how much is wrong with him. But by simply exercising regularly, doing the rehabilitation exercises, following the operations, the falls, the injuries, he is still now one of the top performers in the club. He attends a couple of times a week, and he's able to give everything he can. There's a few exercises he can't. He's got a fused wrist, so press-ups can be a bit of an issue, but we work around it. It might mean throwing him into some tricep dips or just doing some other core work. But he does the session. And he has had knee issues, back issues, ankles, wrists. I can't even begin to describe how much. And he's able to do it. Because we're sensible during the session. He pushes harder on the areas he knows he's not affected by his injuries. He concentrates and he pulls back when he knows he has to be sensible. But he completes 2 sessions a week minimum, sometimes 3. All because he hasn't let an injury stop him or hold him back. And he's been sensible when he is injured, coming back and easing himself back in. And that's the beauty of, especially for us at Fit Club, with myself and the other trainers we have, Beth and Abby especially, I get them to focus very heavily on making sure that you're able to tailor the session for the individuals, whether it's fitness levels or whether it's injury issues. Beth is our on-site sports therapist. She is fantastic at what she does. Even there's injuries that I come across that I'm not familiar with, but I'll educate myself before that person starts to give myself a better understanding of what they should and shouldn't be doing, on what they can and cannot do. I like to learn, I like to engage, and I like to educate myself on what on these new issues coming in, and they do come in. So if there's any value to take away from the video, give yourself some confidence to, even if you are carrying a 20-year injury, you find yourself in your 50s or 60s with this injury that you think's been holding your back, give yourself that first step. Talk to a trainer, talk to somebody within rehabilitation, and give yourself the confidence to actually attend a session, but make sure you are confident in that trainer. If you think you're just going to be thrown in the deep end, I wouldn't say it's worth it. But if you take your time, do your due diligence, and give yourself a better understanding of what you want from the session, you will be able to start exercise even with a long-term injury. And that's something that I've been encouraging for the last 11 years of Fit Club, 13 years of PT and training people. Listen, thank you for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Laura, I've seen your comments. Thank you very much. I hope you have found value in what I've been saying. I hope you, if you were on the fence, you're going to find the confidence to start some exercise. If you want to start a Fit Club, you can DM me directly through the website. You can put in an inquiry. We have a meet and greet service where you can actually come and visit me at a session, but without training. I can walk you around one of our sites at Bournemouth or Ringwood. You can meet with me. You can answer any questions that you may have for me and give you a better understanding of what we can do during the session. But guys, thank you very much for today, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Cheers.